With turbulence in European markets and recession haunting the country, companies across the UK are grappling with how to grow in uncertain times. Some of those most exposed are manufacturers, which must adopt innovative and far-sighted risk management in order to steer a safe course through the multitude of dangers. I'm standing here in Birmingham in front of the famous Spitfire Monument, a reminder that the city has a legacy of manufacturing excellence going back decades. Today, Birmingham is famous for everything from cars to minute plastic moulded products. The parts coming off this conveyor belt are components for a Land Rover Freelander car. Berkeley Plastics, a privately owned company, employs around 90 people and last year had sales of just over £5 million. It's invested in robotics and new cutting machines to increase automation and reduce labour costs. But its most significant strategy for reducing risk has been to diversify its customer base.
In 2004, we looked at the business and found that we were 80% reliant on automotive. Our largest customer within automotive accounted for 40% of our business. We felt that was a high risk to us. We then, through acquisitions, purchased a company in a different market sector which opened doors to that market for us. We've then targeted other areas, the medical industry, the household goods sector, the electronics, electrical industries. We've managed to now come down to 50% automotive, and a lot of other businesses involved as well. So we feel we're much stronger now going forward in the future.
Supplying different sectors means the company's earnings are less exposed to the cyclical changes of one industry. Bromford Industries is an aerospace components company with sales of around £34 million. As industrial activity has stepped up, the main challenges facing the business today are in securing timely and well-priced raw materials, as well as a reliable supply of skills.
In terms of material, lead times in our sector have continued to extend and recently quite dramatically. So as a result of that, we procure material many months in advance, number one. And number two, in terms of labour, we have 16 apprentices in our business and we constantly year on year refresh as they qualify.
Mr. Smith says the best way to mitigate risk is through good planning, a sentiment that Martin Lamb agrees with. He's chief executive of IMI, one of the UK's largest engineering companies with 15,000 employees worldwide and a turnover of over £1 billion.
I think risk management is at the epicentre of doing business. You can make a lot of mistakes by not spending enough time on this. And it's not an academic exercise. We try to make risk management as practical and pragmatic as we can within IMI. I ask every business leader in every business unit, what are the 3 telephone calls that you don't want to get in the middle of the night? What are the issues that would generate those telephone calls? And then what are the practical steps that you can take to mitigate the impact of those situations?
Today, IMI has moved on from its metal bashing roots. Mr. Lamb has ambitions to double sales in the next 5 years by focusing on acquisitions in emerging markets, a strategy which itself demands a variety of considerations.
It's so easy to get tempted to move out of your comfort zone, out of your area of expertise. So the first thing I always ensure is that we are buying assets which are known to us and in our core markets. Second thing for us is to ensure that we don't overpay for assets. It's easy to get carried away, pay more than an asset is worth to you and regret the decision. So we have some very strict criteria for achieving that. And then thirdly, particularly more recently, as we've looked for assets with higher emerging market content, to make sure that we really do understand the asset properly, that the people do business in the right way, and that the people are going to stay with us for the long term.
Train crashes, like corporate disasters, are not something you plan for. But just as rail regulators require that companies invest in safety equipment, so British manufacturers have to develop management systems that allow them to be risk takers without putting the company's survival under threat. It's a difficult balancing act, but the companies that manage risk best are likely to be those that prosper. John Murray Brown, Financial Times, Birmingham.